My mom texted, "Don't come to Thanksgiving. You are too emotional. We need a break from her. Your sister needs peace." My baby and I just turned around and drove home. 2 weeks later, when they saw where we went and who we were with, their faces went pale. I felt nervous before we even left. Not the kind of nerves you get before a big trip, but the kind that settle in your stomach and just sit there. I kept telling myself it would be fine. My mom said everything was all set when I called 2 nights ago. My dad even told my daughter she could bring her new doll. So, I packed the car, double-checked everything, and tried to ignore the tension crawling up my back. My daughter was in the back seat singing some made-up song about pumpkin pie and mashed potatoes, kicking her little legs in the air like she didn't have a care in the world. And I smiled because I wished I could be like that for 5 minutes. I wished I didn't already know how this day would probably go, but I still tried. I still drove. We were almost halfway there. I remember the exact stretch of road, long, flat, boring. I was planning what I'd say if my mom made another comment about my daughter being too loud. I kept going over fake conversations in my head. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted my kid to have a normal Thanksgiving. Then my phone buzzed. I checked it at the next red light. "Don't come to Thanksgiving. Too emotional. We need rest from her. Your sister deserves peace." I read it twice, 3 times. My hands went cold. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until my daughter asked if we were almost there. I pulled into a random gas station and parked. My face felt hot and tight, like I'd been slapped. It wasn't just the rejection. It was how casual it was. No explanation, no apology, just her. Like my daughter wasn't even a person, just some kind of noise they couldn't stand. I told her we weren't going anymore, that grandma and grandpa needed a break. She stared at me, then quietly asked if we were in trouble. That's what broke me. I turned away so she wouldn't see my face and just said, "No, we're not in trouble. Other people are." We drove back home in silence. The sun was still up, but it felt like the day was already over. I kept waiting for another text. Something. Nothing came. Back home, she unpacked her own little backpack without being told. She sat on the floor with the Thanksgiving sticker kit she was supposed to do with her cousin and started sticking glittery leaves onto the wrong parts of the page. She didn't say much, and I didn't ask her to. I stood there watching her and thought, this is it. This is the moment I stopped trying to make them love her the way they should. She's 5. She's energetic. She laughs too loud and runs in circles when she's excited. That's not a flaw. That's just her being 5. The next day, we went to the toy store. I told her she could pick 3 things. She picked 5, and I bought them all: a new dollhouse, crayons, a rainbow puzzle, a stuffed octopus, and a sparkly purse. I didn't care. I wanted her to feel like the world hadn't turned its back on her. What my parents didn't know, and what they were about to find out, was that I'd been holding my tongue for too long. And the second they sent that message, something shifted. I wasn't just angry. I was done. The weekend after Thanksgiving was colder than usual, and so was my phone. No one called, no one followed up. Not my mom, not my dad, and definitely not my sister. It was like we'd never even existed in their plans. Like we were just erased. I didn't tell anyone how angry I was. I just got quiet, not sat quiet, calculating quiet. Because the thing is, I'd already done a lot for them, more than they deserved. And now that I was finally thinking straight, I started remembering things I had let slide. Like how they used to roll their eyes when my daughter talked too much at dinner, or how my mom once whispered to my sister, loud enough for me to hear, "She's exhausting." Or how they kept comparing her to my niece, who barely spoke unless spoken to. They always called her so mature for her age, which apparently just meant easier to ignore. And still I used to show up. I brought pies, gifts, my time, my energy. I worked full-time, raised a child alone, and still made it to every birthday and holiday with a smile on my face. For what? That Monday, I opened the drawer where I kept all our travel stuff. There it was, the envelope with 4 vacation tickets inside, flights, hotel, everything. I bought them as a surprise after I got promoted last month. My parents had practically begged me to plan a family trip. It was going to be all of us, my daughter, me, my sister's family, and my parents. They even helped pick the dates. Funny how they had time to plan that, but not time for a 5-year-old on Thanksgiving. I stared at the tickets for a long time. Then I made 2 decisions. One for her and one for me. First, I put the tickets up for sale. They weren't refundable, but they were transferable, and I knew someone would jump at them. It took less than 2 hours. I made most of the money back. Second, I called my Aunt Linda and Uncle Rob. They're the only ones in the family my parents can't stand. And not because they're bad people, quite the opposite. They're honest. Loudly honest. They never hid the fact that they thought my mom played favorites.